Hi, Mark. I just want to say thank you so much for meeting with me today. Can you tell me a little bit more about yourself, about your previous job experience?
Yeah, of course. And thank you for meeting with me as well. So currently I work at Dynamic. I'm the finance manager. So I do a lot of things. I'm not just tied to finance directly. But typically what I'll do on a day to day, usually typically I'll do commission reports. So we are a commercial insurance company. So we sell insurance pretty much. So we're a wholesaler. So a lot of the times agents will come to us and sell a policy that we're selling them. And so then they get a cut of the commission from that policy. So typically I have to go in and ensure that either that we pay that agency their commission or that they're taking that commission from their payment that they make to us. That's just one of the things I do. I also handle the AP and AR. So whenever a policy is sold, we have to invoice the agency. So whenever a policy is sold, I'm alerted, and then I have to go into our system. And we have different systems. So we use QuickBooks to invoice. We use Wave Apps to invoice. We use Stripe, ePay. There's different ways we kind of take payments and invoice. But I do also invoice as well. I don't do it as much. We have an invoicing team, but typically we'll get about 5 to 8,000 invoices a month, and we divide that between me and my assistant. So I have a finance coordinator. So she goes in and kind of helps me, ensure that the invoices are done correctly. So she kind of audits it. We don't audit every single one individually. We kind of just pick specific ones just because there's so many to audit. But pretty much to ensure that the invoices are being invoiced correctly, every couple weeks we go in with like 5 people from my team, and we'll just kind of spot check the invoices and make sure that they're being done correctly. And then also we also do return premium. So whenever a policy is canceled, I have to ensure that the refund from that policy is returned back to either the agent, the insured, or the finance company, because those are funds that we're not to keep. So another thing I do as well is I also help with the end of month closing. So during the end of month closing, we have a controller that's not in the office, but they do require, the CEO does require a end of month closure. So for the books. So typically, me and the finance coordinator will get together sometime towards the end of the month, and then we'll run some reports that is asked for from the controller, and then we'll give that to them, and then they kind of handle it. But we don't really deal with much of end of month closing, but we do help with that as well. Another thing we do is finance contracts. So that's specifically me. So I'm the one that handles finance contracts. So a lot of our policies are typically, 5 figures, 6 figures. So, insurers don't have the money to kind of pay for those policies up front. So what happens is I kind of am the intermediary to kind of finance those policies. So I work with multiple finance companies. I believe I work with about 22 finance companies. So from those 22 finance companies, I try to find the best price to finance these policies for the insureds. So typically, I'll get a request via email or phone call, and then they'll say, "Hey, Mark, I have this $20,000 policy that needs financing. Can you help me out?" So then I'll go and reach out to all these finance companies on their systems, and then I'll make sure that a contract gets generated. So on this contract, it tells the pricing, the monthly installments, all that information that the insurance needs to see. And so I get about, I want to say maybe about 20 of those every day. So maybe about I get 80 to 100 a week finance contracts to do. Uh, so that's another thing I do. So with those finance contracts also comes, ensuring that they're being paid. So it's kind of a mixture of making sure that we get paid from the finance company and the insured. So that's another thing I do, as well as Excel. So we use a lot of Excel. So a lot of our end of month reports, a lot of our commission reports, just a lot of reports in general are done on Excel. So we do use pivot tables, especially for the end of month, to kind of keep track of how the financials are looking. But we use Excel. I'm very familiar with VLOOKUP, with formulas and whatnot. I do plan on going back to take a course for Excel to make sure I'm certified in that. Another thing I do as well daily is I also, sorry, I'm having a brain fart here. Um, Sorry, I just had a brain fart. Um, uh, Sorry, I think my